Welcome to Moosup, Connecticut, where today we'll ride and explore the Moosup Valley State Park Trail. Today we are going to explore the 5.8-mile Moosup Valley State Park Trail. This rail trail, which was originally built by the Hartford, Providence, and Fishkill Railroad in 1854, was abandoned in 1967. As we approach Main Street, Moosup on Route 14, the line of trees and the Cumberland Farms parking lot identify the rail yard and depot site. The 1915 postcard shows an eastbound passenger train ready to depart for Providence, Rhode Island. Parking is available just off Main Street in this shopping plaza. This 1915 valuation map is orientated with north on the bottom and west to the right. We pass the depot and freight house sites before crossing Main Street and parking at the foot of the Moosup River Railroad Bridge. Moosup and Almeyville are two villages within the town of Plainfield. The Moosup River was named after a Narragansett chief. In this postcard of Kranska Thread Mills, we are standing on the River Street Bridge looking west. The second and larger silver bridge is the railroad bridge at the start of the trail. This is the former Kranska Thread Mill, which was in operation until 1956. The trail is paved for the first mile, but is largely unimproved for the remainder of the distance. The state of Connecticut is planning to improve the surface in the future. Until then, you may encounter uneven surfaces, trees, rocks, sand, mud, and even standing water. All bridges on the line have been made safe for bicycles and walkers. As you may have noticed, I kind of like riding it in the winter with snow and ice. Almeyville was named for William Almey, who built a woolen mill at the lower water privilege in 1816. This bird's eye view from 1889 shows a large William Almey woolen mill. The train is heading west towards Moosup. The mill buildings are gone, but the employee houses are still there today. Next, we'll explore the upper water privilege area of Almeyville.
Although it's hard to see with the truck in the way, this brick building here served the factory and the railroad. So where the truck was, there was a side track to bring in supplies by the railroad. And down there is a bridge that connected this warehouse to the factory, which was located on the other side of the Moosup River.
This 1915 valuation map shows the Glen Falls Mill siding. As a reminder, we are traveling from right to left. On close examination, we can see there is a loading platform connecting the brick building that we see today to a building that is no longer extant near the dam. Behind me is now the closed Brunswick Avenue Bridge, which once led to the Glen Falls Mill, where wool was weaved from 1891 to 1929.
Almeyville, Connecticut was once the site of a large mill. Most of the mill is gone, but was on the left side of the dam over here.
The dam was built circa 1881. It's an 18-foot high curved gravity dam made of stone blocks with a stepped spillway.
The larger doors on this side of the building were once rail served.
For the next 2.4 miles, we follow the Moosup River to Sterling. Originally part of Voluntown, this northern section separated and obtained town privileges from the Connecticut Assembly in May of 1794. Sterling was named after a resident, Dr. John Sterling, who promised the town a library in return for this honor. Here we see a pair of abutments for an overgrade bridge. This bridge would have been built by the railroad to appease a local farmer whose property lay on both sides of the track.
Take a brief pause here to show you an old telegraph pole here by the side of the right of the way. We're also down below is the Moosup River. This rail trail, Moosup Valley Rail Trail, State Park I think it's called, pretty much follows the Moosup River from here into Rhode Island.
This map shows two bridges west of Sterling that we will be exploring. Both are marked by stars on this map, and what I'm about to say is my theory and may not be true, but I suspect the New Haven Railroad built the new longer deck girder bridge east of the original masonry arch bridge circa 1910. I base this on the technologies used in the bridge's construction. I also suspect they would have built a new bridge first and then changed the course of the river to flow under it to simplify construction. On the map, the blue line connecting the Moosup River to the unnamed stream represents the original course of the river. A comparison of the older and newer maps indicate changes in this area. Furthermore, the old bridge was left in place because it was still needed to provide drainage for a small unnamed stream. My rationale for this is that the railroad would not build a 30-foot wide bridge around a pond in a small stream.
As you come to your first crossing of the Moosup River, you might notice the stonework on the left or the right, but you won't be able to appreciate the beautiful bridge you're going across unless you take a walk down to the river to check it out. So I'll bring you down there and show you what it looks like.
This interesting bridge has cut stone abutments with a 30-foot masonry arched center. This deck girder bridge was erected circa 1910. The stonework and the steel spans are far superior to those used in the masonry arch bridge we saw earlier.
Shortly after crossing that bridge, we get to a wide spot in the trail. Here, there were actually 3 tracks, and this was the west end of the Sterling yard.
This 1915 valuation map shows the Sterling yard in its 3 tracks. Note the orientation here has north pointing down. We are traveling from right to left and have just crossed the bridge over the Moosup River shown on the right. The long-gone freight house and depot were on the east end of the yard and located on opposite sides of Main Street.
At this point, the tracks narrowed back down, and by the time we crossed the street, there would have been about 2 tracks. The freight house was over here on our left, where this vacant lot area is, and the station would have been just across the street on the right-hand side.
This 1929 Public Utility Commission photo shows the Sterling Freight House on the left and the depot on the right. In the distance, we also see the large smokestacks of the Sterling Manufacturing Company.
Right here where these pine trees are would have been the station.
This 1928 Lewis Herbert Benton photo illustrates the Sterling Depot and platform area. Keen observers will also notice the signal mast, which was used to control train movements.
As we cross one more road here, Industrial Drive, you can see straight ahead of us is a gate. That's where the right-of-way went. It's a little bit overgrown there, so most trail users take a right here into this area, which used to be the Sterling Dye and Finishing Works.
Here again we are viewing the 1915 valuation map. Travel is from right to left. The United States Furnishing Company, shown in the center here, is one of the many names this industry had over the years. The Sterling Manufacturing Company was built circa 1808. The original factory was quickly destroyed by a fire and a larger factory replaced it. By 1818, the factory was one of the largest in the state, running 1,600 spindles. The Sterling Manufacturing Company pioneered the use of chlorine to bleach fabrics white. It soon became the new industry standard. The buildings for the accommodation of workmen were built with stone quarried locally, including Devil's Den Quarry, a quarter mile up the railroad tracks.
In this area here, there would have been a long side track for rail cars
Jeremiah W. Boswell was born in Foster, Rhode Island, and came to Sterling, Connecticut in 1876. He learned the trade of a stonecutter and commenced granite quarrying about a fourth of a mile east of Sterling Dye Works in 1887. He employed about 5 men. The stone is of superior quality for building purposes and found a ready market in Providence, Norwich, and other places.
As we crossed the main road here from the factory site, there was a spur that headed to the south of the right-of-way into an area called Devil's Den Quarry. This box culvert here was typical of many box culverts built on railroads to channel water from one side of the right-of-way to the other.
This wooden post likely served a railroad purpose in its day. And here is another well-constructed box culvert.
We've come to the junction of a mile-long railroad spur that used to serve the Garvey Brothers Quarry, and after that I think it was an eco quarry. This spur heads back across Plainfield Turnpike, I think Route 14, but we're going to follow it for a short distance because it actually had a bridge that went across the Moosup River.
The quarry spur is shown on this 1890s topographical map. We will ride a short portion from the main line to the Moosup River Bridge abutment. Although we will not have time to check it out today, I have hiked the spur from Plainfield Pike, Route 14A, to the Moosup River. The quarry was located south of Plainfield Pike. In 1886, Oscar F. Gibson commenced quarrying granite about a mile west of Anico Village. The stones were chiefly used for building.
Don't have a very good sun angle here, but what makes this trestle really cool is the stonework. Of course, it was built to serve a quarry, so they probably had plenty of stone. And how high it is here. I'm guessing it's about 30 or 40 feet from the river. We'll take a look down below and see what we can see.
The bridge here would have been about 100 feet long.
So I have to say that this is the hidden gem of the Moosup Valley Rail Trail. A lot of folks don't even realize that the quarry spur exists.
Back on the bike, we are now heading east towards Rhode Island. Here the rail trail passes through a long rock cut. These were built by the railroad to avoid going up and over hills. This one has very poor drainage, and you can see it's icy in the winter and most likely very wet in the summertime. On our right, we can see that some of the rock removed from the cut was used to build this retaining wall. In the center of the map is Providence Road. The predecessor of the modern rail trail bridge can be seen in the lower left center of the postcard insert. The low and narrow bridge was removed to improve highway safety. Anico, a village within the town of Sterling, was named after Awanico, son of Mohegan Indian Sachem Uncas. Our next point of interest is the former Anico Depot site. The depot is located north of the tracks. While it is not shown on this map, Railroad Avenue once ended across the tracks at the depot. Today it turns right before the tracks and follows the right-of-way to Spring Lake Road. This 1915 valuation map of Anico shows 3 yard tracks. Again, we are traveling from right to left and north is down. The highway here is Railroad Ave. Next are the depot and the freight house. At the far end of the yard is Spring Lake Road. The yard tracks ended beyond there. This is a 1916 ICC valuation photo of the Anico Depot. Keen observers will notice the long wooden platform, baggage cart, and the order board, which is integrated into the roof above the operator's window. We are now entering the Anico yard area. The bench on our left is the approximate location of the depot. The gate here blocks motor vehicles from entering the trail at Spring Lake Road.
We just crossed Route 14A here, and we're just outside of Rhode Island. I'm going to turn around and head back. It's getting late, but you can follow us for another 3 miles and go to Greene, Rhode Island. And when they get it all fixed up, you could probably take this all the way into Warwick, Rhode Island. Thanks for riding with me today. I hope you enjoyed the trip. This is a great place to ride, a great place to explore. There's some really cool bridges here on this line. And I encourage you to come out and check it out, even though it's a little bit less developed than some of the other rail trails in the area.
Special thanks to my good friend Bob Belletzkie for all his help on this video.